shoulder issue. Ball is up in the air, and Yukon gets the opening possession here at People's Bank Arena. Great to have you with us here on FS1 for some Big East women's hoops. The Yukon Huskies, as I mentioned, have won 40 straight games dating back to last season as Fudd gets on the board first.
Easy Fudd, we just mentioned the three-point shooting numbers, but she's been so good in the mid-range, just taking that dribble handoff, coming right off the screen.
And there you see the high-pressure Huskies defense, which was problematic for Butler the last time these teams met back in December. It was a massive win for the Huskies, as every Big East game has been this season. Going back to Fudd, though, 25 points last game against DePaul, 27 against Tennessee, and there's a steal here for Yukon. KK Arnold running the point here, gets it off to Zabel, who then loses the handle. Jackson finds Zinstra on the break. Yukon does a good job there with their transition defense getting behind the ball. Zinstra with an open corner three. Butler on the board early, courtesy of Caroline Dotsie.
Yeah, Austin Parkinson has talked about the importance for his team getting off to good starts. He's tinkered with the starting lineup a little bit the last couple of games, trying to find that formula, but a confident start for the Bulldogs.
Butler looking to snap a three-game skid. The last game, a home loss to Villanova on Wednesday. Of course, Villanova, though, one of the best teams in the Big East, as Arnold tries a shot from beyond the arc that won't go.
Yeah, this is a Butler team that has just been really close in a lot of these games. They held a halftime lead in that Villanova loss. Their other two losses as of late have been by just 4 points each.
Meanwhile, Yukon with the defensive stop. Sarah Williams, the one post in the game here for the Huskies. You mentioned Zabel starting a guard, going with a 4-guard lineup, which we saw Yukon do quite a bit last game against DePaul. Speaking of Williams, she finds her shot in the mid-range.
Gino Oriema, we talked to him before the game. He's looking for Sarah Williams to start to be more consistent at this time of year. She had a big game in the win over Tennessee and more of a so-so game against DePaul. He must like this aggressive start from her.
Aggressiveness was the word he used and what he needs to see from the 6'4" senior forward in Sarah Williams. The defense, though, aggressive for Yukon as Zabel flies out of play. This Yukon Husky team, led by head coach Gino Oriema, been on the bench there for more than 4 decades. Leads the nation in career wins, win percentage, national championships with 12, and this team poised to win back-to-back ships, at least it would seem this year, as they have been absolutely crushing their opponents here recently, Kim.
Yeah, you mentioned how they've been just steamrolling through the Big East, but they've really been steamrolling through anybody. You'd have to go back as far as that Michigan game in November to when they played a game in which they didn't win by 25-plus points. They've won 19 straight games by 25 points or more. Longest streak in Division I over the last 25 years of 25-plus points to cap off what Kim was just saying and just how dominant this Yukon team has been. Beating teams like Iowa, top 10 team, as Johnson is able to get it off the glass. I like the poise of Butler. They've handled this press relatively well. You obviously have to be strong with the ball in the half court as well, but they have looked poised and under control in the opening minutes.
Shade off iron, Jackson the rebound. Johnson, by the way, a couple possessions ago, called for her first, the team's first foul here in the early going. But the Bulldogs with a very competitive start here, exactly what Coach Austin Parkinson was looking for from his group. Mentioning they have to really just take it play by play, possession by possession, focusing on their own execution, going up against the best team in the country. 3 to shoot, running out of time here. The Bulldogs got to get it up. Johnson heaves it. Zabel reels in the rebound, and Fudd brings it up the floor. 5'11" graduate student guard out of Arlington, Virginia, AZ Fudd, one of the leaders in the nation in three-point percentage. There's Shade, who's cutting, touched out of play. It'll stay here. Butler, led by head coach Austin Parkinson in his 4th year at the helm here, did an amazing job really coming in and invigorating this program, but a lot of new pieces for the Bulldogs this season. A flurry of transfers in the starting lineup. 4, in fact, have been regularly starting this season. Mallory Miller, a transfer, Caroline Dotsie, McKenna Johnson, as I mentioned, getting the start, and Sanaya Jackson, the Valpo transfer. Her twin sister, Nevaeh Jackson, also coming in off the bench for the Bulldogs. Zabel on the drive. Zabel gets to the cup.
Nice baseline out of bounds play. They cross court to get it to Zabel, who is known for her three-point shooting. So she was well defended and is able to rip through on the drive.
Zabel leading the way with 4 points, and it's another takeaway here for the Yukon defense. Zabel trying to find Arnold, who just lost the handle.
And Gino Oriema giving the layup motion over there. Allie, just take the layup. Anytime you hear Gino talking about it, the concerns with his team, which are very few, he mentions the turnovers, but that time they're able to turn Butler over and KK Arnold in the blink of an eye with the layup. That'll make up for the missed layup and the turnover from Zabel. KK Arnold just gets her hand around. That's what Austin Parkinson said. He talked to his team about the basics of coming to meet the passes. I mean, you can't just stand and think that a pass is going to get there against Yukon, especially in the full court.
Going back to the last time these teams met on December 28th in Indianapolis, as Strong gets it inside and gets the roll.
And we're seeing the aggressiveness from Sarah Williams that Gino Oriema is looking for. That was a really deep post up. She demanded the ball from Ashlyn Shade.
Williams now with 4 points, 2 of 2 from the floor, but a 3-ball splashed in by Lily Zeenstra on the other side. Also a player that Coach Parkinson is going to be happy to see starting aggressive.
Yeah, she's really the only returner. Wow, what a zip pass from KK Arnold. And an N1 for Sarah Williams, who must have heard Gino Oriema's message to her loud and clear in practice since the last game.
Williams with 6 points now.
And look at that feed in from KK Arnold, who comes off the screen. No defender is with her. And Sarah Williams has just gotten to gaps, gotten to openings, and Arnold able to lead her with that pass.
As can mention, 2 points for Williams last game against DePaul. No rebounds for the 6'4" senior forward. But 2 games ago, as there's another turnover for Shade, calls her own number, comes up short. And there's a foul on Shade as she was fighting for that rebound, trying to take it from Dotsie.
Well, this is where you have to be careful when you play against Yukon, because this is where the waves can start to hit you when they turn you over in the backcourt time and time again for layups. So right now, just taking care of the ball, trying to get it over half court is the priority for Butler.
Going back to the point I was making earlier, Yukon had a 48-9 edge in points off turnovers the last time these teams met. And once again, knocked out of bounds, but it will be Butler ball.
Now it's Kaylee Heckel in off the bench right away, just denying in that pass. This is almost a tougher defensive lineup to go up against when she comes in the game, because her, Arnold, and Fudd at the top, that is a scary trio.
And this Butler team without one of their main ball handlers in Addison Baxter, Coach Parkinson mentioning, not the greatest matchup to be missing her with the pressure that this Yukon defense provides. Interesting to see KK Arnold playing alongside Kaylee Heckel, who often has stepped in for her running the points. Nice cut though, and Jackson makes the most of it. Butler down just 5. Williams. Jackson the rebound. Williams though leading the way with 7 points. And here comes the Yukon defense stepping up yet again. Heckel on the break, lays it up and in.
She is one of the best finishers in the country. Credit to AZ Fudd for passing that. It was almost out of bounds, but Heckel somehow corrals it in and gets it to go in.
Junior guard Kennedy Langham bringing the ball up, just checked in a bit ago for Butler, along with Anna Wypich, who runs it down back over half court and gets called for the offensive foul. KK Arnold took a shot there.
Yeah, KK Arnold's flashers to the middle of the floor. You heard him mention those traps. You really have to try to stay out of those aggressive traps that Yukon is looking to put on.
Yeah, the turnover battle that Coach Parkinson identified is going to be key for his team to staying in this game. And speaking of into the game is Jenna Alfie, and onto the score sheet.
Yukon has dominated the paint early in this game. It was Sarah Williams to start, now Alfie off the bench. That's 14 points in the paint for the Huskies.
Heckel stays in the game along with Shade, Fudd, Alfie checks in, and Zabel stays on the floor. Little shot fake there from Miller. Can't get it to go. Heckel pushing. Heckel flying forward. Gets denied. What a defensive play by Mallory Miller.
Yeah, Mallory Miller is going to get a little breather here, but really nice size at 6'4". Transferring from Arizona State. She was injured last year, and getting to the position, using her length, staying out of the way to not be whistled for a foul. Really impressive timing there.
Miller was first-team All-State in volleyball. That kind of looked like a volleyball swat as Fudd hits in the mid-range, automatic. And there was a foul called as Heckel was trying to hassle Langham, the ball handler there for Butler.
And when we came out of that Austin Parkinson huddle, we saw him talking to the officials, saying, look for those fouls on the press. Credit to the officials. They are calling the reach-ins.
Second team foul, first foul for Heckel here in this first quarter. Butler does have 4 team fouls, so something to keep an eye on in the last 3 minutes. Could send Yukon to the bonus. There's the trap. Heckel gets her hands on the ball cleanly that time. Jump ball, but it stays here thanks to the possession error.
You have to try to stay out of that corner area because Yukon is continuing to transition that full court press into a half court trap right over that midline. So you have to try to get the ball down the floor or to the middle of it.
They do a really good job is once you kind of get over to one of the sidelines, just collapsing on you there. Some good ball movement here though for the Bulldogs, and a foul is called.
Yeah, back-to-back whistles on
That's
Haley Heckel.
Yep, 2 for Heckel there.
And the coaches, Yukon coaches agreed. I looked over at Associate Head Coach Chris Daly. Said, yep, she shoved her with 2 hands. Heckel's going to have to head out.
Heckel checking out there. KK Arnold back on the floor. Langham brings it back out. Veenstra taken away by Fudd. Fudd on the dribble, kicks it back out. Fudd in the corner, yes!
And on display on that sequence, 2 things that AC Fudd has done very well this season. One is steal the ball. Her steal numbers are way at a career high. She gets almost 2.5 per game. And then, of course, we all know about that 3-point shooting. Butler losing her a little bit in the corner.
Fudd with 3 steals against DePaul, 57 on the season, adding on to that here today as Yukon is on a 9-0 run, 12-2 run in the last 3 minutes and change. As it is Yukon basketball, the defense really has been setting the tone here in this first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, all 5 Yukon players are so dialed into what they're doing defensively in the half court. You see the heavy denials. They're not allowing easy catches, easy reversals. So for Butler, you really have to be intentional with screening, with some backdoor cuts, because no pass is going to be easy against this defense.
Yukon's lead up to 14, and Butler has turned the ball over 9 times. With a couple minutes to go here in this first quarter. As Fudd comes up short, Alfie hits the deck trying to fight for the rebound out of play. Continuing to run the press. Coach Gino Oriema talking about how this time of year they have to try to hone in on the details, find little ways they can improve. Areas of the game they know that are going to impact them come March.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there was an open layup there for Butler. They didn't see the cutter.
Saw the cut as well. 8 on the shot clock now though, running out of time. Datsy thrown up and a whistle. Oh, Alfie's shaking her head there. Comes to cleaning some things up. Don't want to give up a foul late in the shot clock as Lily Stoddard goes to the free throw line for 2 opportunities. Alfie was called for her first, 4th team foul in this first quarter. At the line here, the 6'4" senior forward, Lily Stoddard for the Butler Bulldogs. One of the few players who did not transfer in this season, Crown Point, Indiana native, transferred in from Purdue prior to last year. Getting some early minutes. gets ball inside to Alfie.
Yeah, that was the right idea from Sarah Williams. You see the two of them connecting a little bit. Maybe the pass could have been a little softer, but I like the intention. We've seen this aggressive start from Sarah Williams on both ends.
One thing that Coach Oriema talked about after last game, even against DePaul, was the team needs to find ways to produce without Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd on the floor as Langham pulls up. Butler recollects for the second chance. Jackson knocks it down from beyond the arc.
Yeah, that was Nevaeh Jackson, the twin sisters. She's recently come back from a missed time due to a broken hand, so it's a good sign for her. She's been struggling to find that shot in the 2 games since she's been back.
6-foot junior guard transferring in from Valpo, just her 3rd game back after missing 6 weeks, as Kim mentioned, with that hand injury. About a 1 second, less than a second difference here. Game clock, shot clock. Arnold on the drive. Yukon's got to get it off. Shade. Now Alfie brings in the O-board, but not enough time to put it back up.
Rafael Pacciaroni, her coach, trying to will her over the line. It's nicely done though. Takes care of business on her serve, Svitolina. Now she's going to try and do it on the Hannes Meyer serve.